got the most ablest body people around, and I'm not including myself in that. Yeah, pretty much. Can't be everywhere at once.
Yes, I have one for today.
Any help would be most welcome.
You've seen some of it, probably.
Oh, yeah. You didn't know your whole conversation was being all right. I know. Over here for now. Yeah, what we do? Spider type of thing? Look at all these fascinating people. What are they up to? Hello. They're not going to tell you. You have to come to the party.
It's going to be sick.
It's going to be sick. That means people are going to throw up.
It's going to be a hell of a time. That's what we'll say.
Say hi. It's hot. You got to go.
Good, how are you?
I don't practically at all.
And then the heart chocolate is green.
There are some people that can't make. What's that?
They're so pretty. Yeah. I mean, they're almost like a piece of art.
Yeah.
Hey,
My buddy, are you kidding me? Give me a ball.
I don't know anybody, so I'm just like, you know, trying to familiarize myself with everyone.
Yeah. First step, we go into an event center. And now what we do on this side, better yet, guys, on this side, these go down. Well, there we go.
oh, there's stilt sport.
Yeah. I like the belt. And then like that. Good. It's a belt.
And when I saw this, I said, gee, I've got to
Thank you, girl. Let's see.
Yeah, that was
Take work that they've done in the past and combine it with work that's being done now. So you don't have to like generate anything new.
it's still a little this way.
If I had to give people a visual of what I'm
No.
stay away from
Bad
I
news.
gotta think about it. Going over what everybody does.
What do you do in the
This is actually our
visual world, in other words?
I'm a writer.
our first actual meeting.
Four?
We had one last one.
For myself. I write.
Okay, novelty writing. Because I can think of many different writing types, like
People were
news
like,
writing,
oh,
Oh, it's
you're
not.
interesting.
novelty
I
writing,
don't like.
At
columnist
some
writing.
point,
Well, like
I
I
want
write
to
novels.
formalize it.
No, I know, that's
why
what I'm saying, novel
Yes.
I want
writing.
everybody to join
Not
the
novelty.
and then I'm going to put together
I was
where
more
we
like
can watch people's progress.
author writing.
And at some
Yeah,
point, I'm
right.
hopefully
I-
hoping for
Creative writing.
you know, a
That's why I'm saying what type of writing, because there's also script writers.
It's true. I write.
Because I do script writing too.
very good input.
What?
I do script writing too.
Oh,
so
you
that's-
do?
But I also write stories and I actually film.
Well,
So
I hope you hear
Oh,
that
okay.
over Facebook.
Well, my
fan.
husband
The chair is really
speaks
wet.
to him. He's a filmmaker. He's an
Are you
acting
in the picture?
background.
Hold on.
really,
Yeah.
that's a surprise.
I don't think I am.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't think I would make. Actually. Oh, you want a good laugh, Paul?
What's
He was
that?
being interviewed.
Well, I was, but the interviewer was not in the shot.
Oh,
Excuse me.
you always get James Lipton in the shot.
I know, I was gonna.
So we got to start over from the beginning.
Paul, I'm just saying, do you want a good laugh though?
Our main man, what's that?
You want a good laugh though?
Good.
I had to ask people your age what real time was.
What's that?
I had to ask people your age what real time was.
My age? You mean like over 90?
No, meaning older
Real
than
time
me.
is if I can get to the bathroom in time before I have an accident. That's real time.
Whose foot depends?
I literally didn't know what
Never know.
real time
What
meant
was,
though. That's why
What's
I'm,
the opposite of real time?
and I'm saying I had to ask people hit around
An
his.
accident. You know, anyone see The Bucket List? You never saw with Jack Nicholson?
No,
He
I
had the
haven't.
greatest line.
It's on my bucket list.
It's on your bucket list. One of the things he said at his age is
No, it's not
never
Paul.
waste a heart on, which
It's not
obviously
Paul. I
is
mean,
inappropriate.
as young as I
But he
am,
also
I still
said
hate
never
technology.
trust a fart.
Oh, really? So did you find out what real
I
time
know.
is?
So how does
No, I'm
that
saying I
relate
had to
to
ask people
real
his age.
time?
I'm just talking
I
bathroom.
found out what it was, but it was around
Oh,
his
okay.
age. Like, what the hell is real time?
Real time. Time is always real. Maybe it's not.
No, it's like insane.
Yeah, right.
If we're gonna start talking like this, you gotta give me a couple
Oh,
more
you mean
beers,
like,
okay?
not like
I don't need
email.
to, Paul,
Email's
because you
not
just go
real
with the
time,
flow.
Right.
Okay.
And real time and script. There's real time in script writing too.
That's the same. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, a play is in real time.
Oh, I
you
got
know,
you.
right? You're not doing any fast forwards
Oh,
or.
okay.
I'm just
Yeah.
guessing.
Okay, guys.
I had one beer.
It's
that was-
working in
apologize.
sync, though. That's
We're
the
boring.
thing.
I'm boring. We're moving on,
Carry it
Facebook.
All right.
Okay, go that way.
Yeah, rotating it to me, probably.
Unless you want to have something to say.
Well, we were talking about real time, and David was asking me as an old person. Yeah, you're not getting me in the shot.
I'm not getting you in the shot. I do
And
apologize.
we're both writers, so we connected.
Okay,
David's a
so here
screenwriter.
we have David, who's about 7 years old,
Yeah.
right?
Hardy har har.
Hardy har har, and
Karen, who is
Karen,
unnamed.
who's
Say
about
for the one that walks
21
with the
years
cane.
old.
I love you, Paul.
So Karen, tell us about real time.
Real time. Before the internet, everything happened in real time.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
What about
so-
the Dewey Decimal
Life is
System? That didn't happen in real time.
Uh,
Okay,
It
we're
did
moving
because
on.
you
Everybody
went in
say
the
goodbye.
library. Bye.
Bye. Okay.
We weren't exciting. Huh?
You were excited. I just have to play the field.
I was going to get Paul.
That's a great idea.
Do you ever look for interesting subjects for the documentary?
Side projects.
I had a very interesting.
Do you know what I mean by side projects?
Yeah.
What do I mean by side projects? You see why I did that?
Not a main. Not your main project.
I say do this for a reason because I know you don't know what I mean. Do you read the newspaper? All right, let's say a few weeks ago you read the Daily News. You see the headlines. Beware of the Pokepurs. That's one of my side projects. I'll be taking footage of like people playing Pokemon and put the news article within the embedded in it, so people read the news and watch the film.
Okay.
But that's side projects to me.
Okay.
Oh no, she's out shopping.
Henceforth, why I
Congratulations.
wanted to clarify what I meant by side project.
Okay. So you have two main projects that you're working on right now?
Yeah,
And that's the homeless and the economy.
yeah. Even though some people think we should go side by side, but technically homeless, you got a whole different ball game because you got people that don't want to work and will just pretty much be beggars. And then you got mentally ill people that won't get the proper health care. So that's why it's in its own field of topic, other than the economy, because it's not. The economy is more of job-wise and people spending. You just got to know where to go. I did a documentary on Superstorm Sandy. I literally went from Manhattan to Fire Island and recorded what damage I could find. So edited it all together and made a 2-hour feature film. I had a sad story of a Red Hook guy. For about half an hour, he was crying about how his home's all destroyed and no help person would help him. Like those victims of Sandy, help-wise, like the Red Cross wouldn't help them. was like a good travel. But what is the thing you were gonna say though?
I have this friend. He has albinism, and so he's legally blind, and he's been trying to get his PhD in biology for forever. He's in his 30s, late 30s now, and he's been going from school to school, and he changed majors to bioinformatics because he thought maybe that would be a little bit easier because he couldn't do any of the lab work because low vision. But he's just so determined to.
When you say legally blind, I just laugh a little because of how it is.
No, he's definitely legally blind.
No, I understand that part, but it's just someone said they were legally blind. I went like this to them with my cane. They're like you could see.
No, I think with albinism, the blindness they get is.
No, it was a different type of vision. It was a vision problem.
Yeah.
But it's just I was going with my cane for the fun of it. You could see.
Yeah, no, he has a vision problem. He has to use like these little it's like telescope glasses.
I understand.
And he has to use like a zoom text reader.
I'm just saying in general, like how I bust people's chops when they say, "Oh, I'm legally blind" and all that stuff. How's the beer?
Delicious.
I don't drink.
I just brought this myself. I can't get enough of it. And when they put it out, I
October.
just love it. Yeah.
Oktoberfest?
It's already out.
Is it dark or?
Hearty and smooth with a deep malt complexity and roasty sweetness. Would you like to try some?
It's okay, thanks.
No problem. We're all friends here. I get it.
I don't drink because my father's an alcoholic. So
Yeah. Mine was too.
you want to follow in his footsteps? Okay.
Well, fortunately for me, I'm able to turn it off. I don't, I drink a lot at a time, but I can put it down and walk away.
I'm able to turn it off too. Don't drink.
But I know people who are in a lot worse shape than I am. But
Oh, I know
drink that
someone that is too, and I keep busting the chops saying no.
Yeah. Like I honestly I drink probably maybe once every 2 weeks, and I don't even get trash. I know I can have a beer and just put it down. But you two are visual artists.
No, I'm not.
Oh, just kind of hanging out.
Define visual artist.
You communicate ideas through visual.
You could do sign language, so continue to narrow it down.
Indeed, it's a good point. I would consider sign language a visual art.
But
Just as I would consider language itself a sort of not visual
henceforth,
art,
why
but
to narrow
audio,
it down what you mean.
source of audio art.
Why do you film work?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sort of a screenwriter
You are?
working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of films do you do?
I wrote a sort of psychological drama that got turned into something. I was commissioned to work on it, and she turned it into an independently made movie. I've written. Just recently. I wrote a sort of science fiction type story. I write prose too. I'm working on a book for.
I'm writing a few scripts myself, believe it or not.
Nice. What about? Or well, you don't have to give me all the ideas.
Sherlock Holmes as a vampire hunter.
There you go.
That sums it up, though, right?
Okay. Yep.
I would say there's a twist with Sherlock Holmes, though. Amish paradise. Only one could tell. Another is in the medieval time, and I'm mostly doing like a product placement technique on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Product placement in medieval times?
No. Not that type of thing.
Oh.
But it's the products, like, let's just say, Zest?
Yeah.
Soap?
Yeah.
It's not soap.
No. I would say, their different designs they have, like fresh alloy, coconut butter, those verbal things.
Okay.
Like you make a potion of coconut oil, butter.
I see what you mean.
Product placement is also verbal, if you didn't know.
Sure.
You don't need the product itself. But it's just it's like one of those designs where I was just like bored out of my mind, and I like to like recycle or do this or that.
Yeah.
So the box of zest being like burnt into like a story, in which case all the scented stuff they have
Right.
into like use product placements for different maneuvers and stuff.
Interesting.
I would have to see it. I don't know what it is.
Okay, let me give you an example of a scene that I thought of.
Back.
They're in the water and all that stuff. Give me 1 second, I just want to rotate this. They're in the water and stuff. Okay. They're in the water and stuff. Pretty much like let's say a water demon comes out. Pretty much the alloy, it's all fresh and stuff. Cast into a spell and all that stuff. You get what I mean?
So where does the zest come in?
Zest has a product of fresh alloy for their bars of soap.
I see.
And in the beginning, I'm burning a box of like an old box of Zest soap
Oh, okay.
without the soap in it, but just the cardboard box. So fresh alloy, in other words. It's almost like saying they have a flavored cherry
Yeah.
for scented.
Yeah.
You got a cherry tree,
Oh, okay. It's very subtle.
something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Peter Griffin statue. Did you just put this here?
No, Justin. No, he makes these.
That's what I'm like. Do you ever watch R.L. Stein? Goosebumps.
Yes, I used to, back in the day.
The Gnomes.
Oh, no,
Revenge of the
I didn't
Gnomes?
see that one. Oh, they kind of look like that?
Not Peter Griffin, but this one kind of remind me of something like that.
Oh, that's funny.
This one right here.
Thank you.
For those of you who are hard of hearing, thank you, Chris. So give me 5 minutes, and then I'd like, if you don't mind, all gather around, and I'll tell you what we're all doing today. Now I want to put it. I am with the dopest beat. I keep the people on their feet. What? What I want to do is I just want to drop it. I just want to.
Where's your husband anyway?
He was supposed to go let the dogs out and come back.
Oh, he doesn't want to.
Probably doesn't want to come back.
This is my own late night talk show, by the way. Ed McMahon. Round of applause for Ed McMahon. Thank you very much. Okay. Anyway, thank you all for coming. This is our first event in a series of many that's going to revolve around this idea called verbalize. Okay? I's not spelled I-Z-E, but I spelled E-Y-E-S. And the concept is we want to take all these talented spoken word artists that I was introduced by Michael about a month ago, and we want to combine them with visual artists in an event that we're going to have in November. Okay? And this November is going to be called Verbalize. It will be taking place at the Huntington Launchpad. For those of you that are not familiar, it's a kick-ass place. It can hold up to 700 people. We're going to have lots of sponsors, lots of free beer, lots of free food. So that'll happen. That'll happen in November. Until that happens, our goal is to play matchmaker with both the verbal artist and the spoken word artist. This started happening in our last meeting. I just briefly mentioned, and the guys that are coming in here, they're late and they're talking, and they're going to leave the whole party. Drugs. Oh, drugs. Okay. So the idea here is this is going to happen organically. No one's going to pair one artist with another. We're just going to today listen to our different artists. We're going to listen to our verbal artists. Chris is going to come up later and he has a nice list and we're going to see people perform. And while that's happening, we also have the visual artists here, and they've brought their work, mostly I'm hoping in analog form. Is that correct? Does anybody have anything that needs to be projected? Raise your hand. Okay, one. I have projected work. We have a laptop and a screen. So the visual part of this will happen when the sun goes down, right? Because we can't see anything until the sun goes down. But up until that point, we're gonna listen to people perform, do their performance art. So all the visual artists should be paying close attention. See what strikes your heart chords. See where you feel, where you could possibly combine your work with a verbal artist, and vice versa. The verbal artist should be looking at what the visual artist is doing and see if there's a connection. Okay? The most important thing is this should be casual. This should be organic. It could be as something as simple of work, visual work that you've already done before, and you're going to put it into a series of a PowerPoint series where the verbal artist will be in front of it and they'll do their thing and you'll show your work. It could be that simple. Or you could do customized work. You could collaborate, get together, and figure out how to create something new. I know a lot of people have expressed they'd like to kind of see where these worlds converge. In my mind, okay, where I see this going, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Laurie Anderson, big fan, but I used to see her performance art on stage. And what she did was she combined visual, projected artwork, spoken word, and music. And that's what I'm hoping we could do, something like that in the fall. As long as you realize this is cash, right? No pressure. Nobody needs extra stress in our lives. But I will add one little tidbit. The event that we're going to hold in the fall is going to be extremely well attended. It's going to be extremely well publicized. We had something similar to this 2 Aprils ago, and we had over 700 people attend. It was covered by Newsday. It was covered by News 12, FiOS. It really had a lot of publicity behind it. Not that I want to give you guys any pressure. Of course not. But that's what this event is going to be like, okay? We want to let Long Island know that we exist, right? That we're talented and we're here. Doesn't happen all over the Iron Curtain called the East River. There is talent here on Long Island, okay? Before I lose your attention, there's a couple of other announcements I want to talk about. And if anybody has any questions, please, at the end of this, you can ask. We have another event coming up. I like to call it our grown-up event, which is August 30th. Yes, there will be adults there. And that's going to be a pure networking event at a restaurant called Jewel, and that's August 30th. And it's going to be between an organization called ListNet, Innovate Long Island, IEEE, and LIVP. That's us, LIVP. Starting in September, since the summer kind of totally screwed us up, we're going to go back to our Monday events. Okay, so the first Monday of every month, hopefully the Jewish holidays don't get in our way, but we're going to go back to what we call a show and tell. The show and tell will be at the Huntington Launchpad, right? And I will post that on the meetup. Now, for those of you that are not on our meetup, you must you must join the meetup. Critically important. That's the best way we have to communicate with you. And it just so happens I have cards that have a QR code and a tiny URL that'll take you right to the meetup. Doesn't cost anything. We don't capture your emails. I'm not interested in spamming. All I need you to do is join this so you can find out the latest and greatest information about what Verbalize is all about. And besides that, we do a lot of other cool events. It looks like in October, we might have GoPro coming to show us their latest goodies. They're actually coming out with a VR 360 camera. So besides the Verbalize stuff, we also have other kind of cool stuff that we do. So that's pretty much what I wanted to tell you. I will ask if there are any questions.
I have a question.
Laurie has a question.
Linda.
Linda, I said Linda. Okay, where's Facebook Live? Yes, Linda, what would you like to say?
On August 30th at Jewel, what's the program? Is there a program, anything formal, or is it just people getting together?
Okay, like I said, most of our events have always been fun, and I would like to say non-adult-like, non-networking. We don't exchange business cards. This is going to be our first formal networking event. We're collaborating with IEEE, which is an engineering organization, Innovate Long Island, which is a new publication, been around for 2 years, and ListNet, which is an organization that revolves around information technology. They've done this in the past. They call them, what is their name? High-tech parties or whatever it is. It's free food, free appetizers, and a cash bar. And if you guys haven't been to Jewel, who has been to Jewel Restaurant? It's a beautiful restaurant. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. It gets really crowded very fast, so I would say get there early. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Is there a lead organization among that group of organizations?
I would say ListNet is the lead, and we're kind of like hanging out on their, on their coattails. Yeah, but it is networking. So if you're interested in finding leads, bring business cards. Look at the posting on Meetup, and you'll see it might not be appropriate for you. Okay, you might not be interested in this kind of crowd. I've been to a few in the past, and I have met, for my company, I have met leads that have led to business. So that's up to you.
I have a question.
Yes.
For Verbalize, will you consider actors?
Yes. I want to consider everything, but go ahead.
Well, let me
ask your question.
suggest actors who use words and their body as a visual art.
Okay, did everybody hear the question? Do we want to allow artists to be involved in Verbalize? And the
actors, not artists.
Actors.
Acting.
Okay, I'm putting the beer down. Okay, I'm putting the beer down.
Thank you.
The answer is absolutely yes. It's performance art, right?
Yep.
It's collaboration. The only thing I think I would hesitate if one person said they want to do one thing. But if it's more than one, if it's a +1 event, then I think it fits in Verbalize. And we're going to have a series of meetings, okay, that are going to help us formulate ideas. This is real casual right now. Eventually, we're going to start writing down. Once you join Meetup, I'm going to put up some documents where you can actually add your name to it. If you haven't already found someone to collaborate, you can put your name on it, put a URL, and ask for collaborators. Okay, this is going to be a big ask. This is going to be our biggest event of 2016. So I hope that you all don't take it too seriously, but enjoy for what this could possibly become. I'm hoping we could do this annually.
Filmmaking? A film? No?
100%.
Okay. You're so easy.
It could be.
I heard that about
you.
you.
That's what the women. That's what everybody says. I'm very easy. Right now, the way I see it technically is I want to get a rear projection screen, but I've also seen plenty of beautiful performance arts where the projector is shining right on the performer. So it doesn't have to be. I don't want to pigeonhole. I don't want to handcuff anybody. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I haven't found the verbal artist yet, but my idea, I'm working with a very talented programmer, and we're going to create a programmatic performance where we're going to be recording video that records the outline of the artist, and we're going to have microphones. And based on what the performance artist does and the ambient sound, we're going to have a 3D environment change based on what that person does. I've always wanted to do something like this, and damn it, I'm going to do it. So this is all for me, by the way. Get used to it. It's all about me. Any other questions? Let's rock and roll. Okay, so again, for the visual artists, put your work out, let people see it. People will walk around. I'm going to hand over the before I forget, before we start with let's give a round of applause to Michael Krazfest. This is becoming like what is it? Creative Central on Long Island for cool shit. So thank you very much, Michael. Appreciate it. And for those who don't know, he's got really spectacular artwork in his house. Please go check it out, okay? So now,
We also have some artists, we set up a table if anybody wants to put their portfolio or their work out. If we need more tables, let me know. These small sculptures are Justin's work. You'll see them floating around, and he's going to hang a banner. And Kelly Powell did an interesting piece. She's incorporating her poetry with visuals already.
do you want to take
That's
the
Kelly
floor?
over there. I mean, everybody can hear you, sort of, right? And welcome, and
Let's continue. Okay. How about, you want to start with some music?
Line up some people who want to do some poetry.
Yeah, we have a list for poetry. So where's Chris?
Right here.
Okay, Chris, before you start, we're just going to be serenaded by our local LIVP artist, Christopher Peters, who never disappoints.
how the Gollum, and it was a very interesting piece because it was a contemporary Gollum story. So it is something that people are talking about right now.
I know. Occupational hazard.
Well, you guys know I read some poetry and I mostly visual artist, but that's just as it goes. If the sky is blue and if the earth is blue, how can you tell endings from beginnings? Yet this is where I am on the horizon of eternity, standing here forever, thinking of you. Looking deep into the distance, seeking a sense of direction. I turn around, I'm dizzy. I throw up my hands and laugh at the absurdity of the situation. Convinced that the sky and the blue are having a great time watching as the innocent human spins out of control, disoriented, fading into the blue horizon. Without a thought, I close my eyes. I try to remember her auburn hair, her red blouse, the flavor of orange. And the wind will wash us all away. A gust of blue, cool like the dawn, takes us to the edge of the land, where cobalt finds solace in aquamarine. So I was kind of feeling blue when I wrote that one. Thank you. As you know, poets never know when to end a poem, We don't know if we should step back or just kind of nod our heads, I think, right? Am I mistaken? This one's called Changes. Some of them are going to be on my phone. Walked into a wall and found a penny. Put it in my pocket. Now it's mine. I sold an idea in the form of a painting to a countess who was counting coins. I told her I found a penny by a wall I recently walked into. She laughed and said it was her penny. She was looking for it, high and low. Thought she would never see it again. I thought about giving it to her. I held it between my fingers. How penny it felt. And I decided to give it to her. She was so happy receiving the penny, she had thought she had lost. She gave me a hug and smiled. I thought, how fortunate that I walked into that wall, and how stupid I felt when I walked into the wall. You idiot, I thought to myself, how could you be so stupid? And yet here we are, the Countess is smiling, and I am smiling, and you are hearing this tale. And if you clap, I'll never stop. My Aunt Acid used to play in a band. She played bass. Guitar, deep and mellow, like a dark cup of Java, rich and bitter. My Aunt Acid would take us on trips, through the wonderland of sound. Journeys of magic, journeys of our souls, entering and leaving at the same time. All right, this is where I'm going to read one more, and this is where I'm thinking maybe I should have stopped at the third one, but I'm going to read it anyway. Yeah, that's what they say until after. This one's called Nirvana. Afraid, change, staying the same. Hopeful, afraid of hope, afraid of disappointment. She hangs from a chandelier, grasping for her freedom. No fear, no apologies. Once I heard a song, she said. This is it, I remember. Like being pulled out of nowhere, dumped into a pile of leaves and dirt in the middle of a forest. It's cold outside, but the sun is out. Morning first light. I get up, I wipe the dirt from my jeans. I walk into a small town. A styrofoam cup filled with something warm, street lights swaying. I see the town wake up from inside this diner, where I'm writing these thoughts. This is our second chance. There will be no others. A girl laughs loudly at the bell above the door as she enters. A weathered old man, baseball cap, looks up. Once I saw him as old. Now I see he is me. Or I am him, I'm not sure. A waitress with a stack of pancakes, warm smile, distant thoughts. Looks at me kindly. Just an old man remembering his youth. Thank you.
Again, Michael Krazfest, everybody. And we all should really thank him and tip our hats, raise glasses for him for providing us with this wonderful space here.
And the great weather.
Yes, weather pulled through for us, thankfully. Also had other great moments here this summer from this wonderful yard, the Kraz yard, I'm going to call it. BYO Festival last week. That was a huge blast. I tip my hat to you, Courtney, for that. That was a great time. Also, Krazfest earlier this summer, June. That was another great time. I had a blast at that. Hey, Drew. Hey, Eddie. Glad to make it. But up next, without further ado, let's put your hands together for Adam J.
Yeah, Jay.
How am I talking about? Way to get off good, I don't know what I'm talking about. Where am I? In celebration of the soon-to-be started NFL season, I decided I would read something I wrote just before the Super Bowl this past year. This is called Win That Stupid Bowl. Herzog said, "Do not avert your eyes," so I don't. I don't judge people for eating Kardashians via HDMI. I don't judge people for snorting bath salts and masturbating on street corners when not tweeting about warlords kidnapping African kids. I don't judge us for watching that stupid bowl, for sucking in the colors, for sucking in the noise, for sucking in the ads and the laughs and the brain-cracked boys. Herzog was talking about Anna Nicole Smith and WWE, how her breasts were disbelievable, how to me they weren't even breasts, they were dreams of breasts, cartoon nipples, and imagined plastic American teardrops realized. How she was a cartoon character. How she couldn't have existed at any other time, not when redcoats were coming or Southern man was happy hanging his brother from the trees. And yet she follows in their footsteps like an animated shoe. Like we learned from Roger Rabbit, you can't kill a tune and they always look the same. So where liberals weren't hanging black people, they were augmenting any people. And the money men in big cities had better ideas and got hold of violence. And slapped colors on them and slapped noises around them and dumped cash before them. And we see them the same every week, except the colors can't hide crumbling limbs. Peyton Manning, win or lose, is a battered old man at 39. Cam Newton will follow him into the agonized sunset one day. And I won't avert my eyes, no matter how much Will Smith tells me to. Because for me, these cartoon characters bend and snap back each week. I can always see them. Time is no dip when you've got the internet. Thank you.
This man was one of the very first people I ever met in the poetry scene back in 2009. Guy is a veteran of the scene, he's all over, great patron of poetry. Let's give a great warm welcome for Russ Green, everybody. WrestleMania.
Many old nicknames. Thank you, Chris. Awesome job. Thank you, Mike Krazowitz. Thank you to Mr. Lipsky up there and everybody else that's involved in putting this together and the subsequent event to follow. This is really spectacular. All right, so I was told to pick a couple poems that have some visual aspects, so that's what I did. It's called Blue, another blue poem. I was a stone-mustached traveler, long-haired, seasick fisherman from the comfortable, rotten, spoiled Gold Coast, a star-struck road rider whacked on Kerouac, a lover, a hugger, a dirty tree food, barefoot bugger. I sensed the thirst in a blue-sky woman's fingertips. I shuddered and carved her hair out of butter in my bucolic wanderlust, wallet chasing, knife-grinding September, slope, seaside shack, singing sea shanties out beyond, seductors and gravel-toed clam shuckers and city suckers. There were canyons of carnivores, herbivores, locavores, communing in their divinity, worshipping the hallowed earth. Buddhist throat singers, through their voices, they splashed into the echo of a lonesome lake. I came here to show myself what it's like to shave off that icy sheath of cold karmic indifference through the soundtrack of her deep blue ocean-going eyes. All right, I'm working through Dropbox here, so give me a sec. All right, so this one is a Krazowitz poem. This one came it came from it's an ekphrastic poem. Anybody who's unfamiliar with the term, an ekphrastic poem is simply a poem that's written based on a piece of artwork. It could be sculpture, painting. In this case, it's painting. And this was a painting that was sitting on the floor waiting to be hung at the B.J. Spoke Art Gallery at one of Kelly's events. And it was a student of Mike Krazowitz who did the painting. And I was so ecstatically thrilled about this piece of work. I immediately ran out to my truck, grabbed a pad, and wrote this poem. It's called Krazowistic. Hey, the blue guy's looking at himself. Right there, under that cranberry Easter egg gyro. The moon guy's watching his every move, 'cause he wants in on the feast. The old lady's dishing out the food. The poets are at the table, and they ain't stopping for nobody. No, not nobody. The purple creature's staring at the lavender draped eye. Not the blue collar guy with the blue hat reaching for the sky. No, not nobody. Not your grandma, not the ice cream man, nobody. It's a color cacophony bursting out of the volcanic eruption of Krazowistic chaos, and I'm there for the party. All right. Actually, no, I think that came out of the thing in Huntington. At that, yeah, right. Frenzy. This is the one that came from B.J. Spoke. I have two ekphrastic poems. I didn't even realize. You never know what's going to happen. Yeah. So, yeah, that event, we each of us picked one of Krazowitz's paintings and wrote a poem to it. Yes, we did. I have witnesses. So this goes with the former story that I just told. It's called Frenzy. Green, brown, ekphrastic fire, chaotic liberty, pink harp, ching ching, exploding crazy head paint poem. It's all flying out of that big brown book's rings, rolling stamen wrapped around. Aren't you glad you're not dead? No, no death here. Fuming football folly, sea green, sanguine sand girl staring. She gave her face to the flames, gave it all to fame. For the black sun that brought it all to the tiger god sitting on that canvas cloud captured in your mysterious mind fuck. Now that we've crawled out of the muck into the Sabatilius sound experience, can you hear it? I hear the sound of colors exploding from your veins. All right, what do we got next? Hold on. Okay, here we go. This one's a little mellower. This is about hiking through the Himalayas. It's called Annapurna. That's a Nepali national park. I saw you hiking under the Dhalagiri icefall, your thin, determined German frame, like rushing water gone frozen. The world around me hesitated a moment. The rooftop of time blew off. The Kali Gandaki River roared. Prayer wheels spun under the cherished light of the Himalayan sun. Snow leopards stood silent on the high cliff ledge. I felt the energy of 1,000 singing bowls. I was certain our destiny was written on that prayer flag, blowing on its rickety stick high atop that holy tower of earth, piercing the atmosphere of the Buddha mind. Hanging bridges swayed against the echo of a lonesome dog's howl, ricocheting off the sheer rock mountainsides of that deepest river valley in the world as I watched the long shadow of you disappear and burn. I think that's all I got. Thanks, guys.
You thought it was a blueberry.
Raspberry.
It was a
I know who
strawberry.
that was. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Kelly.
No, it's okay. Does Chris want to introduce her? It's Kelly Powell. Hi. Hi, I'm Chris, introducing Kelly. It just got a little rushed. Okay. I have a few pieces here that I did with Barbara Southard. She's also a poet. Some people know her, some people don't. She is 78 years old and she's camping with her husband today. And she looks younger than all of us put together. So, the mermaid in the picture is her granddaughter. So if anyone, wonderful person, wanted to buy them, I'd have to really not do that. Because her granddaughter doesn't know she was used. So my poem today is about, it's a creepy mermaid story. It's a little similar to Liz's. It's a little longer. And the beginning is a quote from Cummings that was used in a Woody Allen movie. It's, "No one but the rain has the right to have such small hands." So that's the beginning of the poem, is Cummings, if anyone wants to know. So, no one but the rain, it seems, has the right to be so tired of poetry. Tired of preaching to a choir for a pittance. Tired of poems that wind down like a top infused with fear, wearing down a roughness you dearly need to keep. Easily deflected in youth by a practical side. Become shovelers and grovelers, teachers, bookkeepers, clerks, politicians, astronauts and assholes, murderers, survivors, writers of prose. Unable to commit as to a clinging woman, always another love. I have become so very tired of poetry, tired of being out with her after closing time, under the glaring lights of last call, skeleton showing, silvery cobweb wrinkles, a once lovely mysterious beauty, her makeup heavy on my pillow at dawn, wishing a razor caught her wrist before she became this creature of the night, experience compensating something once burning bright. Lips sharp, quiver with envious darts, shards of metaphor, vows of passion exchanged for vows of the living dead. Aren't you very tired of poetry? I did not love her as she should have been loved. When she appeared, it seemed I would be able to dismiss her carelessly. There would be another and another, puppets in a petri dish. But she bound my wrists with seaweed, took me naked, flailing before her father, Poseidon. And he was very tired of poetry, but loved his daughter as all loving dictators do, and bade me throw her back. It wouldn't live. But she harbored me and hid me, and poetry thrived, became a strangling vine, an orange bird of vengeance, with a taste for poets of my kind, my kind, my kind. I surfaced again and again, but she wouldn't cut that vine, umbilical and greasy. I begged for mercy, but she never tired of poetry. Fed on it, turned it to an eerie song from the watery grave that washed her, found more victims in the ruins of burnt children and piano wreckage, corpses of unrequited love. She lassoed the moon, stole fire from the sun in response to his conspiracy. She tries to mimic light, ageless, childless, orphaned at her father's knee, loves her victims. Their shoals shimmer, trophies the color of fool's gold and dreams, forgot that we were once alive. A vast ship of many sails, born of the sweat of men, blood mixed with brine, filled the hold, harbored ghosts and mariners, shrapnel fire, scabbards and rations strewn. She, once beautiful, filled with wind, taunted, made a fool of clouds behind her. Tokens and journals dripped like raspberry sauce, drop by drop to the bottom of her sea. She stands silhouetted, and yet there are moments without seasickness or suffocation. Moments of harmony and rest. Thankful for the thimbleful of mortality in my heel, but she never tires. She never sleeps. She doesn't need to eat. She swells and storms. She yanks the cord again, without a change of clothes, tears in the sea like breath in the wind, swept away with the cold, insipid ocean. It slaps my face at the point she impregnates the sand. I see stars. I have slept. I am tired. Once I wondered what she would do with me. Now what she won't. She has my hands, and I am hers. Thank you.
Reached 6 o'clock, and just wanted to try to say now, like, because we also have to, also we want to give time for the visual artists to present their work. So, possible, like, for the next, if we could, for the remainder of this, we could try to cut the sets a little short if possible, if we can, just to be considerate, just for our visual artists as well.
Hey, Chris, can I just say something too? We're going to have on, I believe, September 4th, our next show and tell. And those people that don't get a chance to go or got cut short, you're more than welcome to come and do your performance there.
Thank you, Paula.
You're welcome, Chris.
Up next. No intro needed for this cat. This guy also, he's got a book out. Also is a records dealer. Let's give it up for Nathaniel Watts, everybody.
One by one you see them pass, feeling alone, alienated, done in, brought down, grinded by a system that's shown so many times it doesn't give a shit about them. Never realizing that together all of them make up the majority. Instead, they submit themselves to be submissive to the powers of an entity known simply as they. Slouchbacks walking neighborhood sidewalks is too much of an everyday sight. They're broken people, oppressed and mangled to points of being owned by consensus. Zombies they nearly are, but those creatures know how to utilize free will. With us, restrictions lie within the freedom that's sold to us through empty sales pitches from nurtured pricks. My problem is I stopped buying the product. Yet here I am, stuck within the confines. I can't escape. I lack the fame, money, or sought after talents to make me appealing for anywhere else. If I had my choice, where would I go? I'd go to Iceland. Yeah, Iceland. Said to be a hip, chill place. It's bound to be cool up there. Darkness may be seen from above, but brightness shines from below. You want freedom? You go there. Remain here. There's bound to be more sights for people reared not to see. There's need to open. 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 Open your eye and fucking realize. Think. Feel. Reach. Envision. Become. Thank you.
His name's Ernie Fazio. He's a dear friend of mine. And the only thing I want to say about Ernie, he's little, and see if I can say this slow so I don't upset the neighbors. He's got the biggest set of balls anyone has on any person I've ever met. I've seen this guy go into meetings, go into these huge executives, and when they came out, they were about this big. He's a fighter for our rights. He was a former congressional. He was going for Congress, and he'll run again next year, right? Yep. And I'm just going to introduce the next cycle. And beyond belief, he's also a poet. So here we go. Ernie, take it away.
And that inverted bowl they call the sky, where under crawling cooped we live and die. Lift not your hands to it for help, it rolls infinitely as you or I. You know, my friends, with one brave carouse, I made a second marriage in my house, divorced old barren reason from my bed, and taken the daughter of the vine to spouse. And as much as wine has played the infidel, and robbed me of my robe and honor, well, I oft wonder what the vintners buy, one half so precious as the stuff they sell. If you and I could with him conspire, to grasp this sorry scheme of things entire? Would we not shatter it to bits and then remake it nearer to the heart's desire? But the moving finger writes, and having written moves on, nor all your piety or wit can lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. I am now going to sing a cappella. That is, by the way, excerpts from the Rubaiyat. I'm sure some of you recognized it. The poem is, it's actually about 60 poems. And I once memorized the entire thing. And that's a few of the segments I still remember. I did that when I was 20 years old. Anyway, I'm going to sing Lady Luck. They call you Lady Luck, but there is room for doubt. At times you have a very unladylike way of running out. You're on this date with me. The pickings have been lush, and yet before this evening is over, you might give me the brush. You might forget your manners. You might refuse to stay. So all that I can do is pray. Luck, be a lady tonight. Luck, be a lady tonight. Luck, if you've ever been a lady to begin with. Luck, be a lady tonight. Luck, let a gentleman see just how nice a dame you can be. I know the way you treated other guys you've been with. Luck, be a lady with me. A lady doesn't leave her escort. It isn't fair and it's not nice. A lady doesn't wander all over the room and blow on some other guy's dice. So let's keep the party polite and never get out of my sight. Stick with me, baby, I'm the fella you came in with. Luck, be a lady. Luck, be a lady. Luck, be a lady tonight. Now the next song is something I wrote. I was married to a woman for 38 years, and it was a good marriage. She died 9 years ago, and I thought to myself I would never marry again. So that, if you know that background, this will explain the song that I'm going to sing. And I thought I would be single for the rest of my life, but I met someone. Her name is Marguerite. And this is the song that I wrote. What wouldn't I do for the love of Marguerite? What wouldn't I do for somebody who has made my life complete? With tender loving grace, she filled my empty space and gradually swept me off my feet. What wouldn't I do for the love of Marguerite? For the love of Marguerite, what wouldn't I do? Who helped me find a little peace of mind and a happier point of view. Right from the very start, she nestled into my heart and became a part of me before I ever knew. For the love of Marguerite, what wouldn't I do? She's my laid-back lover and I love her, yes I do. Marguerite, my sweet familiar song. I create the melody, she lays down the harmony. She blends in and together we hum along. I wouldn't want to lose her. For the love of Marguerite and happier days. I don't need to. Thanks for laughing because it's a little embarrassing. For the love of Marguerite and happier days, I don't have to change my life. No need to change my ways. No need to toe the line. She's content to let me shine. She is mine and that is how she stays. For the love of Marguerite and happier days. Thank you.
Not least, feast your eyes on this. We got Wendy, who's going to give you some wonderful dancing. Yeah. Even taught me a few cool dance moves too.
Music about life story. Yeah, I a little while released from FLO area, so I try maybe. Yeah, thank you.
She's going to say, don't tell me what, you know, maybe she's going to say, I said that. Why are you saying it again?
Well, I have two bodies of work that I'm currently making, and one is basically ephemeral and installation-based beings that are sort of portraits of modern identity. So they're made out of paint and plastics, and I guess I'll just read my statement. I am in love with paint as a substance, in its viscous, muddy form, and its dry, flexible skin. I build with paint and with color. Each layer is an event of slow germination fused to the one before it, culminating into a sustainable substance, a hide of seductive skin-like plastic. To some extent, I relinquish control of these pieces. Each one is a character, an entity unto itself, laying claim to physical space. I build it, I slash it, I violate it, and to some degree, I let it fall where it may. The material determines its own shape according to gravity in each incarnation of display. Gravity takes its toll, warping and stretching the material over time. They are buoyantly abject. They have a life beyond what can immediately be controlled. Gravity, as a constant, inescapable earthly force, defines terrestrial existence, and by subjecting these imagined beings to inexorable forces, I hope my pieces will evoke a sense of meeting a strange species of being, one that oscillates between corporeal body and representation thereof. The accumulation series studies the carnal inner body, the meat and organs of a paint organism, through the cannibalization and reincarnation of older works. I compulsively collect the cast-off and detritus of older pieces, small experiments, and assemble them. Shards of paint and silicone become tongues and valves. Extrusions of chalk and polyurethane become tubes and veins. These accumulations document the moment where paint, image, and flatness grow from two dimensions into fleshy form in mass. Thank you. And my other body of work, I create interactive and immersive environments for all audiences. And basically what this means is I create a 360-degree environment where everything is touchable and interactive and full of weird sounds and textures and colors, and it becomes this like full body experience. I have a piece that I installed last week at BYO Festival called Space Picnic, and it's the landscape of an alien planet. I wish I had visuals to show you because it's much more impressive when I'm not talking about it.
I'm impressed.
Oh, thank you.
I've seen it and I'm still impressed.
Is it online? Is it online?
Yes.
Okay, then we should help.
Yeah, I actually have. I emailed myself my PowerPoint presentation so you can look at my little works and my little sculptures and it.
While I finish.
Actually, I'd love to play everything.
Okay.
Here. I work in paint. I also work in as paintings here, but I also work in charcoal and just pencil, ink as well. But my vision of someone that I'd work with is something that was very colorful, maybe some abstract images with lots of color, which is a lot of what I have here. If anyone's interested, you can come talk to me. I know, I'm like not really showing it. I'm like,
So tell us about your process. How do you start? When you start artwork, what's your inspiration?